Hi, good evening. My name is Father Rayappa. I'm going to talk about some history, Indian history. I'm a student of history, so I want to uh, examine some of the events that took place in the pre-independent India. And one atrocity known as Jallianwala Bagh Massacre, which was enacted on April the 13th, 1919. And the Jallianwala Bagh site is witness to one of the most brutal incidents that took place during the Indian freedom struggle, and it came as a monster in the form of General Reginald Edward Harry Dyer. Symbolizes the ultimate cruelty ever perpetrated against humanity on the biosphere, and this incident still fills the minds of the people with anguish. Jallianwala Bagh incident played an important role in giving a definite direction to the Indian freedom movement. On April 13, 1919, around 10,000 people of Punjabis gathered in Amritsar's Jallianwala Bagh as part of the Sikh festival known as Baisakhi fair, that is the Sikh New Year, to protest peacefully against the oppressive Rowlatt Act. Now, what is Rowlatt Act? Rowlatt Act passed on the recommendations of the Rowlatt Committee and named after its president, British Judge Sir Sidney Rowlatt. This act effectively authorized the government to imprison any person suspected of terrorism living in the British Raj for up to 2 years without a trial, and gave the imperial authorities power to deal with all revolutionary activities. Known also as the Anarchical and Revolutionary Crimes Act 1919, popularly known as the Rowlatt Act, was a legislative act passed by the Imperial Legislative Council in Delhi on March 18, 1919, indefinitely extending the emergency measures of preventive indefinite detention, incarceration without trial, and judicial review enacted in the Defence of India Act 1915 during the First World War. And what is Baisakhi festival? It is also known as Baisakhi festival or Baisakhi festival. It is celebrated as the Sikh New Year and the founding of the Khalsa Panth. History of Baisakhi traces its origin from the Baisakhi Day celebrations of 1699, organized by the 10th Sikh Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, to form Khalsa. Khalsa means brotherhood of saint soldiers to fight against tyranny and oppression. The story of Baisakhi festival began with the martyrdom of Guru Tegh Bahadur, the 9th Sikh Guru, who was publicly beheaded by the Aurangzeb, the Mughal ruler. But in Jallianwala Bagh, the situation is different. These people, those who gathered in Jallianwala Bagh for Baisakhi fair, were unaware of the following danger which was surrounding them from all the sides in the form of General Dyer and his army. His full name is Reginald Edward Harry Dyer. The brutal general ordered his army of 50 soldiers to open fire at the crowd. As the only exit point was blocked and the walls of the park were beyond the reach of the people, the innocent people were trapped helplessly before the spraying bullets for 10 to 15 minutes, 1,650 rounds of ammunition were unloaded into the screaming, terrified crowd, some of whom were trampled by those desperately trying to escape. 400 people were killed on the spot, which included some children. The 1,500 wounded people were left to die in the pool of their own blood. Later, the Prime Minister Winston Churchill wrote about the Jallianwala Bagh Massacre as follows. The Indians were packed together so that one bullet would drive through 3 or 4 bodies. The people ran madly this way and the other. When fire was directed upon the center, they ran to the sides. The fire was then directed to the sides. Many threw themselves down on the ground, and the fire was then directed on the ground. This was continued for 8 or 10 minutes, and it stopped only when the ammunition had reached the point of exhaustion. Reginald Edward Harry Dyer marched away, leaving 400 dead and over 1,500 wounded. Back in his headquarters, he reported to his superiors that he had been confronted by a revolutionary army and had been obliged to teach a moral lesson to Punjab. In the storm of outrage which followed, the brigadier was promoted to Major General, retired and placed on the inactive list. General Dyer admitted before the Hunter Enquiry Commission that he came to know about the meeting at Jallianwala Bagh at 12:40 hours that day, but took no steps to prevent it. He also admitted in his deposition that the gathering at the Bagh was not a concentration only of rebels, but people who had covered long distances to participate in the Baisakhi fair. The incident had an international impact, but the guilty General Dyer was not punished for his doings. The Indian freedom struggle took a significant turn from this tragic incident, and the politicians started to ask for complete independence. Although Queen Elizabeth offered a wreath on the Jallianwala Bagh in 1997 when she visited India, however, she was unable to wash off the ruthless act of General Dyer. So, very sad story indeed, Jallianwala Bagh. April 13, 1919. I would never ever forget that day. I think our modern youth should learn all these stories, all these incidents, they are not mere stories, happened in the Indian soil, and our people paid a great price for the sake of freedom and liberty. The freedom and liberty what we enjoy came with the cost. Great people have offered their lives. And today there are so many injustices around us. And there are so many General Dyers today in politics and religions. And there are so many unjust laws. And we need to speak about them and to change the course of our destiny. Thank you. Bye.